Hi, this is Anil and welcome to the video tutorial for the Learning Lad on C++ programming. In this tutorial, we're going to be learning about the multi-dimensional arrays in C++. So in the last tutorial, we have learned about the arrays or the single dimensional arrays. An array is nothing but the collection of similar elements. And in the last tutorial, we had an example of marks. We were storing the mark of a student in the array. And what if we want to store the marks of two students? At that time, what we can do is we can create two arrays separately and use them, or we can create one multi-dimensional array. So a multi-dimensional array is nothing but an array inside another array. For example, if you guys want to store the marks of another student, we're gonna create another array here. And we're gonna call this array as the marks, and as you guys can see here, this looks like a table. So we have 2 rows and 6 columns. So the first row is gonna contain the marks of the first student, and the second row is gonna contain the marks of the second student. So this is a 2-dimensional array. To declare this, we're gonna use marks, then the square bracket and another square bracket. So in this first square bracket, we're gonna specify the rows, let's say X, and in the second square bracket, we're gonna specify the columns Y. So now if we see this and compare it to the table here, we have X rows and Y columns. And in C++, we can create 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, similarly we can create n-dimensional of arrays. So this 2-dimensional array is very easy to use comparing to the 3-dimensional or the 4-dimensional arrays. Alright, now we're gonna see an example. So in this tutorial, just for the demonstration purpose, we're gonna store the marks of 2 students in a 2-dimensional array, and we're gonna create that array right now. So it's gonna be int, which is the type of data stored in our array, and then the array name, I'm gonna call it as marks. And then we need to use 2 square brackets, and in the first square bracket we're going to specify how many rows we want, or how many number of students data or the marks we're going to store this, and that's why it's going to be 2. And next, how many elements will be present in that each individual array. So here we have 2 arrays, one for the first student and another one is for the second student, and here we're going to specify how many elements we want in each of that arrays. We want to store 6 values, the marks of 6 subjects, that's why it's going to be 6 here, and then a semicolon. So this is the declaration of a 2-dimensional array. Now if you guys want to initialize this 2-dimensional array right here, when you declare it, then you guys need to write equal to the assignment operator, then the curly braces. I'm gonna align it so that it will be very easy to understand. And here we need to specify each array elements separately. So I'm gonna use another pair of curly braces and add a comma and another pair. I think we got more here. Alright, now it's proper. So here we are initializing the values for our multi-dimensional or the 2-dimensional array marks. So in this first pair of curly braces, we're gonna write the values of the first student. So let's say 35, 45, 85, 95, 75 and 25. And in the next or the second pair of curly braces, we're gonna write the marks of the second student. Let's say 78, 98, 62, 41, 36, 64. So now we have a 2-dimensional array marks, which is containing the marks of 2 students. So the next thing is how to access the elements stored in this 2-dimensional array. It's very similar to accessing the values of a single dimensional array. So first we need to write the array name. It's going to be marks, and then the index. whether we want to access the marks of the first student or whether we want to access the values of the first array or whether we want to access the value of this second array. Here we want to access the value of the first array. And all of you know that the first item will be present in the 0th index. That's why I'm gonna write 0 here. And again, the next square bracket, which is used to access which element you want to access in that array. Here I want to access this third element, and this third element is present in the second index 0 1 2. That's why I'm gonna write 2 here, and let's add the semicolon. That's it. Let me see whether I can draw this. Alright, now these are the two arrays that we have, the first one and the second one. The first array is containing the marks of the first student, and the second array is containing the marks of the second student. So the first array is present at the position 0 of this multidimensional or the two-dimensional array marks, and the second array is present at the position 1 or the index 1. So these are the marks or the elements stored in this first array. So here the first element is present in the 0th index of the first array, and similarly the last element is present at the 5th index. And for the second array also, the first element 78 is present in 0th index, and the last element is present at the 5th index. If I wanted to access the mark of this first student and third subject, this one, and this first student's marks is present in the 0th index. That's why first I need to write the array name here, marks, and which array? First array, because I want to access the marks of the first student. The index is 0, and then which element I want, or which subject's mark I want. I want the third subject's mark, which is present in the second index 0 1 2. That's it. Alright, now we're gonna use a cout here and just print it out. I'm gonna build and run this so you guys can see we got 85. And the next thing is, while initializing the multi-dimensional array in C++, you should specify these dimensions here. And if you want to initialize these arrays, not while defining it, to do that you need to write the marks, then the which array, the first one, and then the dimensions which we used, just like here, and assignment operator and the value, let's say 0 and 2. Alright, I'm gonna save it, build and run. 10. So this is it, guys. This is about some information on the multi-dimensional or the two-dimensional arrays in C++. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like my Facebook page at facebook.com/learninglad, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.